So can you see this?
You see it?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So what you have now, if you double click the hand tool, you're going to get to use some of these segments as you go through it. This is just the links panel showing that this image is in the screen as an icon there. So if you can see the video on there, you can follow along for a second. This is the layers panel, and right now I have this particular image with a couple other items listed here. So I'm just going to remove these. These are the segments here. So just take this and cut this. So this is the segment that has the layer. So I'm going to put a new layer above this, and this is going to be the logo graphics. So I'll give it a title and just paste in what I've already started with a little bit off to the side here. The scanned image, you can lock. There's the eyeball. There's the lock that's next to this. Categories down. Gets you a little bit with the scans. If I double click on the title of this, it'll give me the scan layer that I can dim down and lock. And if I dim it down, it makes it just a little bit easier to see. So I'm just going to look. He's got a couple of here. We'll try. Here's just this little figure, and going over it with the pen tool is probably the easiest way. And I'm going to start with a W because that's probably the easiest one to work with. So I'm assuming that he wanted some of this straight. I'm just going to continue the W to overlap. You can see I have the white and the black there. Savannah, pay attention. You're on video. So here's the outside logo. And if I decide to turn off the fill color, that way I can see through this. And go ahead and make that shape. So that's one easy, quick way to do that part. I'm going to give it a color just so it shows up off of the white background. And for the first part, I'm just going to do the pen tool. It's probably the easiest way to do it again. Just to show it to you, here's the pen tool. As long as the icon click shows that point, I could even come down right to this line and just finish it off like that. That's one particular way to create that segment. And again, I'll give that just a different color so you can see the shadow segment of it. And whatever color is now highlighted is going to be that piece. If I didn't want to match this, it'll show up easier on the letter E. But again, here it is coming back. And say I didn't want to turn that off, I could kind of guess to where that piece is. Then take the direct selection tool and click on this and move it up or down with the arrow key. And if I need to, I can turn that off or at least show that color. If I want the color to be filled again, I can take the tool called the eyedrop tool and just click on the blue, and it shows that section up. And here I'm just kind of going right where the smart guides are telling me where that point is. And that's a quick, easy way to place that on there. You'll notice that there are little extensions on these paths when you zoom into it a little bit. When they come in here, it's the miter is okay, but when it goes around the corner, it sticks out from here. So you can draw a selection box around all these pieces and go into the stroke panel. Now, I just changed this icon up here to go to the icon view or to this view. I kind of like having it so I can have more windows open and see what's happening. So here it has the corner point. It can be a rounded piece or a beveled. So I just click on the rounded part and it just hides it a little bit. Here's where I can make the thickness of the stroke. And the stroke of the thickness is actually going on the middle, if it's on the inside or the outside, just to show that to you. So I'm just going to keep it on the middle and keep it back down to 1. And that makes that piece up. So that's a quick way to do this one. I'm going to go and do the next easy one, which is the N, and just click on this point. So I'm going to click here to start it, go through the E and come across. I'm going to turn off the fill just for now, come down to the bottom. I'm assuming that he wanted all of this straight until you get to here. So I'm going to click on a vertical line here. I'll zoom in a little bit. Come to the midpoint to turn that curve. Dragging out the handles from the anchor point. And just continue to draw this across. Spacebar just moves it over. Even if I click and drag, it sets a little bit of the curve to go up and around to do this part. To deselect, I'm just going to either hold the command key, it turns it to the direct selection key. I can click off of everything and then let go of that command key, and it goes right back to this rather than going all the way back into the menu. The next part's a little trickier because he has the shadow. So I'm going to click on the start, kind of go where it would go in behind this, and try to anticipate this curve here. Come around this side, come all the way down here. I'm going to connect it to here. Now with this inside piece, I'm just going to make sure that I overextend it all the way through here until I get to this part. And I'm going to use the shape builder to pull that across. So this is coming all the way down. I want to make sure I hit this corner point, so I'll line up there. But then I'm coming way over here and finishing it up here. So basically, it's just make sure I click on that end point with the circle so I know that's a closed shape. So with the color, I can just click a different color to show you what that part is. And I'll click on this one and give that a different color so you can see that there's two separate pieces. Why they're both selected just by a marquee selection around the both of them. The shape builder tool is the easiest way to do this. And it just click and drag and it connects that shape. Connects that shape. I just click over here to click it. That sets it as a shape. Changes the foreground color to what it is. But now I have these 3 panels. And now I just have to take this and make it an image there. So that makes that a little bit easier. So I go back to the E, which is probably the next easier letter to draw. But first I'm going to just grab all this together so you can see it. I'm just going to go to Object and Group. And then I'm going to go to Object and just hide this selection, or Command 3, just so I can see through without having to lose anything. So now I'm going to do the letter E. I'm going to do the same idea. I'll click on this midpoint, zoom in so you can see it, and click on this side of it, make that point. Here's the curve halfway across, and coming down to here. I'm going to take that coloring out, so that's the shape. Do the same on this one. Set that curve, and come out to this side. And just use the space bar to separate this out. And that does that. Now before I do anything, I'm going to select the both of them, give them a color for the fill. This one is in front of it, so I'm just going to go to Object Arrange and send it to back. And select this one and give it a color. So now I have these two shapes that I'm going to use the Pathfinder right here. And instead of uniting them, just go to subtract it, so now it's behind it. So now I can easily see that shape. And the next part is just making those little shadow parts, so not too difficult to do. But just go through it. So I'm going to take the foreground color of this. I can double click to change the color just to get it lighter. Okay. Deselect everything and double click again just to give it a different color for the shadow. So here's the shape. Here it is over here. And as long as I keep it inside this path, I can use the shape builder to help me do that. Here's the curve. Trying to match up that line. I'm going to go right to the intersection of the anchor point and then come into the inside of this. And that has that shape, just waiting for the shape builder. There's a curve. Come back all the way over to this side. Maybe go right on the path and then just... So it's much easier to use the shape builder than trying to match it up. So everything is selected. I'm just moving it to show it to you. Shape builder tool. And again, just click on the green to the pink and it builds that color right up there. And then on these, you're just clicking it. It'll just set it as a shape. And then all this one is, if I double click again, I can just pick a color. It's going to be that shape. So far, just putting those pieces in there, and then just go to Object Show All, and the N comes back. Okay, and down below the N, he has ink. So I'll just go ahead and take the Type tool, click on it, just type in INC. Take the Selection tool, and just stretch that out to make that lettering there. Okay, these lines here, I can use the path tool, or I can use the pen tool, whichever one you come into contact with that you want to try. So we'll get to that section as well. But I'll go up to the top and take a look at the face section. And again, hopefully you can see it, so it's always good just to take what the easiest thing is. So here's the eye shape for here. Like so. And zoom into that. And I'm just going to click to use the shadows. And this isn't, since it's a straight line segment, I can just go right to the anchor point and it matches it pretty easily. In fact, here I'm just going to angle this a little further. So a little interpretation there to build that up. Again, I'm just going to take the selection tool, select all those, go to the stroke, change the end cap a little bit to corner, select all of them, double click on this just to give it a color, and then select these two and just give that coloring of black in there, a different color. So that builds that up pretty easily. The next one is this letter M, so I'm going to do the same thing, just follow that path. Turn off the fill for now. Go right to these points. I'm going to make this a shape, and then do the same with this interior one. Try to click and drag the handles to get that curve. And let's see if that's going to let me curve it. Yep. So that makes that curve. And do the same with this outside one. It's a little different here. This way. And again, the letter A I can click on and grab the point as well as the handles to adjust. Make that fit in there real good. And take the pen tool this time again, deselect everything, and I'm going to go inside of here and interpret this just a little bit. Go right on the path right there. And on this one, I'm going to close it up around here, so I'm going to use that shape builder. And you get better at this than what I'm doing. I'm just doing my best here. And then the M section on the back here starts to get a little confusing, but at least you can see this section. Go up to here. Tighten that up. So a lot of lines. Hopefully you can see it all. So I'm just going to make a selection, go right across this shape. And just to show you, I have everything selected. Now just go with the shape builder. And I'm going to give it a light color just to give us something to look at. And see what happens. So this is going to be connected. That's for that one. This is going to be connected through this letter M. I'm just dragging this through here. Hopefully I get the right spot. That makes that shape. Connect that one here. Don't forget those guys. So there's that blue shape, and then this interior piece. I'll just click on these parts just to set them up. And here I can do the same thing. I can select all of it again, and then Shift key is going to deselect the outside edge, and the other selection will come through. So this is a piece that you can take a look at and do the same with the rest of them. So I'm just holding the Command key with the eyedropper there. And there you have it. So you have this selection. Here's the Layers panel. Just hide the background. Here's the spacebar just to draw it up. Move it out a little bit. I'm going to select this whole image and just Option and drag it across to duplicate it. Select all of this, and you see it has both question marks here. And just take the outline off. Let's see if it'll let me take that off real quick.